Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Asuka here. This is a very quick PTR update. Sorry. This is another video for Conqueror's Blade, published by Porus Interactive. This will be a PTR update about the current PTR, which involves the changes to Iron Reapers, Myrmillones, Companion Cavalry, and Zwanji Heavy Cavalry. One thing that is really annoying is that I don't think the update's gone in properly for the companion cavalry. Um, Honestly, I cannot realistically tell you if there is a real difference to the performance of the companion cavalry. Um, they are very much still very strong. Uh, if the effects have gone through, they're much more muted compared to the initial effect. So it's just like, um, so the +1 to their skills is not actually that large, uh, considering that they probably already had multi-hit. So it's kind of a scenario where if they only had one, it would be 100%, but if they have two, it would only be 50%. I think they have around about three. It could be higher than that, but maybe I'm not running them into enough density in order to kind of max out. So that could just be my fault. That being also said, again, Stormpound, either Stormpound or Gale Strike, when fully charged by Sworn Guard, absolute madness. They are very powerful. Will basically can basically like I just recently did over 6,000 damage to the PTR Iron Reapers. I'm not sure if the Iron Reapers took damage or whatnot, but like if that was 6,000 damage through 60% damage resistance, that's yeah, no, that gonna cause some problems. I don't I mean, don't take that as gospel again. Like these guys have a lot of nuances to them that just makes them a nightmare to actually use, and it's kind of difficult to get them to work properly. I do realize that there is some kind of skill issue with these guys. One for being is that the Zephyr Blade just refuses to actually hit their initial target. They kind of just hit things by collateral. You can see this very well when there's singular heroes that that you try to kill, misses completely. If they do hit the hero though, that hurts. I've seen damage numbers of nine, six, 7, 8, 9,000 damage. It varies a lot because of Sworn Guard. And again, Sworn Guard is probably the most broken buff I've ever seen in Conqueror's Blade. Let alone the speed, the damage reduction, the damage boost alone is the scariest. It is the scariest thing I've ever seen. And it might be a multiple factors. It could be a multiplying effect that we can't see because we don't know how things work out. But because of Sworn Guard, things that would probably be sitting in the probably um, 3, 4, 5 category is getting shot up to over 10 over 10,000 damage. It's kind of crazy how strong these guys are. And largely heavy cavalry is again a nothing burger. The massive change that apparently didn't that just went over people's head is to the Myrmillones. Now, why I say that is because Roller's shield got changed. Now, you saw before that it would it would get a different buff. Now, if you're reading, I'll read this first before I say my problem with it. Getting a like they're missing out a T, but getting a Warmong's shield effect, increasing piercing, slashing, and blunt defense by 15 points for 20 seconds, while Myrmillones taken taked damage, stacking up to 10 times. Upon reaching 10 stacks, it will consume 5 stacks to get an additional 25% max health for 5 seconds. That, by the way, is uncapped. It's uncapped. Now, how maximum health works in this game is just a straight heal. It is a straight heal. They increase the maximum health by the amount. They don't adjust the health to the new maximum health. They straight up give you that amount of health. That means, I mean, I didn't put the veterancy notes for these guys for other reasons, but like you imagine if that was like a flat number. Let's just say it you had like 10,000 health. 25% is two 2,500. Imagine every time you get hit 5 times, like you have to get hit 10 times for the first one, you heal 2,500. And then every 5 times after that is another 2,500. That's insane. Why? I mean, like, realistically, it's not. Because most attacks are doing over 1,000 damage. That is most attacks. These are a heavy shield unit. Most units will be hitting you peanuts. But there are some units that are really going to suffer because of this, against this unit in particular. A good example, Imperial Pike Guard. They deal very small amounts of damage. Very small amounts of damage. They do a lot of damage, but very small amounts. And that's important because it calculates each hit. This is really stupid, by the way, because earlier I got hit by a Shenji grenade. I healed up to max. Shenji grenades only deal around about 800 damage if they only hit a single target. They deal even less damage if it hits multiple targets. Now, Shenji grenades are a very powerful skill, easily a bunker breaker. They healed these guys to max because they got hit so many times that they refreshed this buff so that they were max health. I couldn't even blink, and I was just I like before I even blinked, I was at max health. Now, do mind this only works against very particular skills. Units that are really strong against shield units and that will just deal a shit ton of damage will still kill you. Honestly, I mean, I've been getting beaten up by Iron Reapers the entire time. Like Iron Reapers just blasting me into pieces. Pike, however, they are not dealing very well with me. Braced pikes, if you're not, if braced pikes, especially like phalanx ones, will do fine. Like they will rip you to shreds because every other hit. Shit like the shit like the Sunway phalanx, they do tick damage of like only 200, and they do it like every quarter of a second or every half second. They're not doing anything to the Myrmillones. I had a situation where I was just in V trying to attack the Sunway's phalanx. They were healing me faster than they could deal damage to me. Do mind that they only do roughly 14 um around about 13 100 damage per hit per like when they stab me. They like it would take them forever to kill Myrmillones in particular. Like it still takes them forever to kill a bunch of other things. I got hit by the Ares Fury and just died. But there are definitely some cases where this passive will go out of control. Will just like The best example I can give is the Shenji one. Like getting hit by Shenji would just straight up heal you. The Imperial Pike March, 50-50. I mean, that could either do just enough damage to actually hurt you, or deal too little damage and heal you. Like it's like it's very close to either or, and depending on how you set up doctrines and stuff, like you could easily send the Myrmillones into territories where they would take like even less damage from the Imperial Pike Guards, and Imperial Pike, you would be almost impervious. No, sorry, you would be impervious to Imperial Pike Guard advance. Like, let me make that straight. Imperial Pike Guard, the Imperial Pike Guard advance, it does barely any damage. Like, barely any damage per hit. And if you're dealing less than, let's say, 600 damage to Myrmillones, you are never killing them because you can't. Unless you only hit them once, wait 20 seconds. You can hit them up to 9 times, wait 20 seconds, hit them again for 9 times, wait for 20 seconds. So, these guys are crazy strong. Granted, as well, they also have changes to their Myrmillones Guard, which I think they still have the 30% damage reduction while charging, but they also get the Warmong Shield per defeated enemy. I'm not sure how this is calculated or whether or not this is calculated individually, but regardless, if the skill's strong enough to kill the enemy unit, it's just going to kill the enemy unit. Um, but a single stack is basically nothing. You need to get 10 stacks. I mean, Myrmillones Guards, if I remember correctly, hits two guys, does two attacks, and hits for around about 3,000 damage. It's not terribly a lot of damage in context of nowadays, and I say that like Myrmillones Guards charge was one of the strongest charge in the game. Before they did a whole bunch of buffs, like Serig's were pretty comparable, but because they only had a hit limit of one, Myrmillones Guard just beat them out of the water. So, all that being said, Myrmillones could be really, really cool against weaker shit. And at the same time, it's just another unit being buffed in a way that's going to cause problems. Now, don't get me wrong, they're not going to be meta. They will not be like, they won't be so strong that they're going to like cave in Men-at-Arms or Wu Wei. They're not. They're absolutely not. More often than not, you'll still be deleted by both Men-at-Arms and Wu Wei. Men-at-Arms might take a little bit longer because Men-at-Arms do shit for all damage with their basic attack, but they will one-tap your stupid unit with a charge, and you can't deal enough damage to kill them. Straight up, like straight up. I've hit Men-at-Arms with the Myrmillones charge. I could not kill a single model. Maybe I could. Um, but it was just so depressing that like I couldn't do anything for I couldn't do anything to them until my charge was up, and they charge every 9 seconds. The lowest cooldown you can get for the Myrmillones charge is 16 seconds. No chance of winning in that scenario. Even then, I mean, like I'm struggling with the Zerigs now. I mean, like against men at arms that don't have like defensive doctrines, I could probably smash them in like two charges. I say two charges, but like they charge up to 3 times. But basically, I'd hit them with one charge, and they get hit by a second charge, they'd be dead. Rambling, rambling, rambling. There is. I am just really annoyed that they've done this. I don't like the direction they're taking. I don't like these passives that just scream out. Just like everyone, like at this point, every single unit's going to get a passive somewhere, somehow. That's going to dictate a very particular thing. Like make them uber tanky, make them deal super amounts of damage, make them like these passives are really stupid to me because I didn't like these
Efendimiz'i
changes to
onurlandıracağız.
Zilladar's advanced armor way too stupid. Like this I hate it. Absolutely hate it. I don't like these things. It's cool, don't get me wrong. It's like every 3 hits you get damage reduction. And you get crowd control immunity. Well, immune to interrupts. I don't know what that means. But I think they're crowd control immunity for a short while. It's not explained. They still have the chance to block range attacks again. Like people say it doesn't exist. I will tell you it bloody exists because I've shot them with muskets. I've shot them with archers. They've blocked shots from me, and I can hear the pings when I have the Silidars running towards ranged units. Well, the noise is a very it's not a ping to say the least. It's like a very distinct blocking sound when it's a very distinct blocking sound when a projectile hits a shield. Or I mean, you can hear the arrows and the bolts ones more. You can't hear the musket ones too well. Anyway, I just hope that they don't. Okay, so I hope they don't give that passive to Myrmillones because that's a crazy passive,
The
like
strongest
crazy
will
strong
survive!
passive against really weak stuff. It's useless, by the way, actually useless against strong units, against meta units. Meta units will slap these guys in 2 seconds if like this charge does no damage. In comparison, this charge does no damage. This will not save them because it takes less than 10 hits to kill a Myrmillones. Guaranteed, it takes less than 10 hits to kill a Myrmillones. So Myrmillones will still die, still be killed in the meta. It just got super buffed against everything that's weak against it. Though, I may also say is like this as well. Like, the funniest thing is that Rattan Marksman could could hilariously hit a stage where they would be shooting at the Myrmillones so fast that the bleed is not killing them. That could be a that hilariously enough could be a scenario, but I think the total damage, how everything works out, will still kill the Myrmillones. But like, it's a funny thought to me. I don't know why. I don't know why I thought about that, but that's a really funny thought. Uh, yeah, low damage range units are definitely like not going to be a
Tepedai
threat
our
to
strength.
Myrmillones because again, the heavy shield unit they have they have doctrines against ranged units, and ranged units do not do a very lot of damage like in a single hit, except if you're Kriegs or Shinji. Like they do the most damage in a single hit. And I guess that's all I want to say. Kind of sad that no Retiari changes. They did take a
Everything
look
but
at
the
the Myrmillones,
strongest
but
will survive.
um, the direction they're going, I really don't like. I think that they could have done a better job at kind of fixing units. They could have definitely they could have definitely done not done this, not added this Brawler's Shield thing. It was completely unnecessary. Unit the only things you should be adding, like make it simple. Don't try to layer it like you're trying to be cool and stuff because all of this just nets out to straight up being just straight up being like how to say it's convoluted. for no reason. You want it to be strong, you can do it in other ways. You want to change things, don't add things that are like entire paragraphs because people don't read these. People think that, oh no, this unit is strong. Why? They don't know. God, goodness sake, like, you
一
know,
战擒双王，
you know, this is stupid. This exists. Not the second part, the first part. No one even cares about the first part, the overwhelming state. I like the overwhelming state, by the way. I love the overwhelming state. You know why? Because it's an empowered basic attack. For 4 seconds after using an ability, they they do multi hits. They do multi hits and hits multiple targets. Really cool. No one fucking sees it though because they're spamming 1-2 so often. Ugh. Another
住
thing
手
is
啊！
just like
搞笑啊！
very heavy armor on the Iron Reapers. Don't get me wrong as well. They're still gonna have a vulnerability time, but to deal with Iron Reapers is going to be a scenario where their upfront brutality is just so goddamn efficient, and because they reset to the highest state, like you have to put constant pressure on an Iron Reaper. The amount of pressure you need to put on an Iron Reaper, like it's just untenable at the current like at the current state. 60% is too much. Like 60% is too much for Iron Reapers. Because if you put the veterancy, I think it's bot line. You want the heal up until bot line, and I'm not sure if you want the defenses, but realistically, how I set mine up is middle line all the way, and then I grab whatever bottom line. But you could probably mix this up to be more efficient than what I did. Where it is? There it is. Holy shit! You get the 9% extra damage resistance by default. By default, these guys have 69% damage resistance on the first hit they take. And they can reset them with both abilities. Very strong, very difficult to deal with. No infantry right now can even go toe to toe with Iron Reapers in the slightest. Not even in the slightest. I've I'm honestly gobsmacked by like how easily they just made like I've said this before as well. It's just like very heavy armor is set too high. um, back before all of this like super damage increase, but like very heavy armor was set too high that it made them basically win their first fight, but it decreased down so low that they basically stopped winning their fights. Like 18% is too low, 48% is too high. You need to go somewhere in the middle to really um to really kind of get the good spot where they're just strong enough they can win fights, but they come out pretty weak. You you can't have this situation where they're just so strong that they just beat up whoever. I mean, like at this point, they'll beat up whoever taking minimal damage, and if who and anyone that follows up will deal the maximum amount of damage because you will charge. This doesn't kill a whole unit, by the way, surprisingly. Um, you will shock, and then you will activate Tiger's Guile. Tiger's Guile finish off the unit. Like shock, I've killed a maximum of 40 units with this thing. A maximum of 40 units with this thing. It was mostly it was mostly a shield unit and I I think it was mostly a shield unit. Or maybe there was a follow-up attack. But I used this ability, got about 40 kills. That's the most I've ever gotten. It could kill a whole unit, but like I've activated Tiger's Guile in a few seconds. I've gotten like over 60, I've gotten over 80 kills in the 12 seconds that Tiger's Guile is activated. Like very easily. They're gonna be these guys could easily be meta. Um, they stomp they stomp the Sunword's phalanx into the ground. There's nothing the Sunword's phalanx can do. You try to brace against like the damage multiplier against charging units is not high enough to kill Iron Reapers when they charge and in. Like, you could probably kill a couple. Maybe you activate the Ares Flurry. Like, maybe you'll do enough damage. But I've charged into the Sunward's Phalanx and I've ripped them to shreds. It just shows how powerful Iron Reapers are right now. Or are going to be, sorry. PTR stuff. Um, Also, I mean, like, Tier 5 hasn't been officially released, so maybe they're going to change them. All I know is that brace units beware. Iron Reapers don't give shit. You need someone to you need someone to tank the damage because you're not dealing enough damage until a few seconds in. Like you have to, like they're coming in 60% damage resistance, and you'll probably hit them twice before they smack you. You're not dealing enough damage to kill the Iron Reapers at that point. They activate Tiger's Guile, you're screwed because you're not dealing enough damage to kill these guys in the next 2 seconds. And they're gonna kill you really easily because they deal enough damage. If they hit three people, deal about 2.5 to about 3,000 damage. That's enough to one shot a person. In 2 seconds, they'll 18 of your guys will be dead. At least 18 of you guys will probably be dead. If not, probably 27, if I'm doing the calculations correctly. But yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I don't know why I just kind of repeated a few things and just made it this longer than it should be, but um, really, really important. Just the Myrmillones changes could be really funny against weak units. I definitely like to see them in the meta. I don't like how they're going to be in the meta. I just think it's really funny. It's going to be. The charging shield is fun and all, and I just want to use them as a shield unit while having that charging shield ability. But at the same time, I don't want that charging shield ability to be so strong that it just completely obliterates the enemy. That's what was happening during the Scorpio season where they buffed it, changed it from a one hit to a two hit. No, not one. Changed it from like a one attack to a two attack. But yeah. Yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Other than that, my name's Satsukai. Have a nice day. Bye for now.